Hey everybody, Mike again. I just smacked my desk. That felt really good. Today we're going to talk about how to get Google Trends using data with data for SEO. And I'm going to show you a really cool make automation that looks like this. We'll go through it, but I will leave timestamps in case you don't want to hear me ramble. I'll leave timestamps for you. But Google Trends has always been a great way to create content. If you've never been to Google Trends, and you're any form of content creator, you want to create anything that social medias and YouTubes and all that fun stuff, this is definitely a great place to get stuff, and, it can tell you, come on. So here's what's happening today, and if any of this matches your results, if you, do celebrity stuff, there's a lot of celebrity names on here that you could probably, I don't know who that even is. But, this is a good place to start. The problem is Google has destroyed their RSS feed and email options for trends. What they call it, depreciated all of them. Because I used to love getting those. I used to have it set up where, I'd have my terms set up for my niche or your niche, and it would basically send you like an email. And I used to have a make automation that would do that. It would take my email from my Google Trends, and then it would create my content. It would send it to my Twitter and to my Facebook and the Instagrams and all that stuff. But they completely destroyed how their RSS feed works now. The email options are pretty much gone. So I had to find another way to use this. And luckily, Data for SEO came through for me. So also, I want to mention that using this automation that I'm going to show you here, along with these other automations that I've created, can turn into one giant super content machine where you can get thousands of topics to talk about either on your blogs or your social medias. So, I mean, it's, of course, I will leave the templates and the Google Sheet in the description, so that way you guys can have those. There is some prerequisites for this. You obviously need a make.com account. If you do check my referral link below, you will get a free pro account with 10,000 operations. And normally when you sign up for free, you only get 1,000 operations. So you use my link. It helps me out. It gets you 10,000 operations to really see if you even want to use Make. So check that out. And then, of course, you'll need a Data for SEO account. Once again, check my link. When you sign up, you will get $1 to start with. And if you watched any of my videos, $1 is more than enough on Data for SEO. I mean, basically, this automation that we're using today, I spent, let's call it 23 cents testing it. And that was for an entire day to build this. It took me a while to build this. So I spent 30 cents, right? We'll call it 23 cents. So, I mean, Data for SEO is saving me so much money because now I'm not using, I used to use SEMrush, and that's $140 a month. Data for SEO is, check it out. And plus, if you do like it, you have to put $50 in. That's like the minimum amount, but that $50 will last you forever. So don't worry about that. Okay, so let's go into this automation here. So this is a very simple automation where you set up your Google Sheet. So this is my Google Sheet here. And you basically set up your keyword. And of course, we need a location. And I always have my pending here. You can do it by time ranges, which I've already filled all these out just so make it easier. And there's also this other web news and stuff like that. Now, before I get too carried away with that, this is the API doc for this API call we're making. And you can see here, it says, let me zoom in. This endpoint will provide you with keyword popularity data from the Explore feature of Google Trends. So once again, that's what this is right here. So it's basically taking this data here. So if you type in your, digital cameras, it's pulling this data here. And we have related, lots of cool stuff, right? And I do want to mention though that I use the live this live one here, they do recommend, if you're going to use it a lot, to do the post and the get method, which are both of these right here. So we have post and get. I use the live version. You don't have to. But if you were going to send a lot of calls, like if you were making money with this, you would obviously want to use the post and the get, and that would just require creating 2 scenarios instead of just having it in one like this. So in that situation, you would have like, this would be your one scenario with like a webhook, and then you would create another scenario that would basically be the rest of this. That was a really bad circle. Sorry. But since I don't use it that much, I just use it for my own use. I just use the live version, but you might want to look at that. The other thing I do want to mention, though, is when you're on DataForSEO's website, when you get on your homepage here, is this AI chat. This here is an extremely powerful tool to use for DataForSEO. I use it all the time. So, for example, when I was trying to learn about this API call, I asked it. I said, how do I use it? And it shows you, and it even gives you what you put in the request body. It shows you exactly how to do it, which is amazing. But I had questions because if we scroll down here, there's this type thing, and it says web, news, YouTube. It's like, what does that mean? And so, as you can see, I just asked it. So, I asked it, can you explain the difference of these values? And it says, the web is for this, the news is for that, the YouTube is for that, the images are for that, and Frugal is for that. And then, of course, I asked about the trends, which, of course, if we scroll down a little more here, so there's these item types. There's this graph, there's maps. I'm like, okay, well, what's that? And so a graph, it basically returns a graph, which that would be cool. I don't need it, but maybe you guys could find a good use for it. A trends map, right, provides a geographical map location of different keywords across different regions, which can be really cool and powerful for some of you, not me, but. And the topic list, I have yet to find a use for. It gave me such vague topics that whatever. So I use the queries list is my main operation because it provides a list of related queries that users are searching for in conjunction with the specified keyword or topic. That's what we want. So once again, I asked the API, how do I use it? So once again, if you're not using their AI up here, and there's a document helper and a request helper, and like I said, it shows you how to fill it out. So that saves you a lot of time in the long run. So let's get on to this automation here. So we're going to start with our Google Sheet, and we're going to need a keyword, location. You will need a time range. Right now, let's see. So I'll just switch this back to web. So the first one we're going to do is AI for the past 30 days using the web. And of course, the web is the default value. It retrieves data from general web searches on Google. And all you're going to do is search rows. You set up your keyword. I always do status pending. So the reason I do that is when I run this, now it'll tell me when I did it. And if I were to run it again, it's not going to run the same query again and again and again. So this way it's constantly picking the next one that I actually want to search for. And then of course I just return limit of 1. And so I always run this to make sure it's on the right one, which as you can see, it's on. So my keyword is AI. And then for the Google Trends, for this one here, we're just going to put the URL from the Data for SEO page, which as you can see, it's right here, Data for SEO, and it's a post method. So we put the URL, we put post. You don't need to do any headers or anything. Your body type will be raw, will be JSON. And then once again, I got this from their AI. I just copy pasted this. And then I put in, obviously I want my keyword to be this, location, time range, type. And then like I said, I'm just doing the queries. You can set this up for the other ones if you want. But as you can see, I have my keyword, location, and then we can pick our time range, and then we can pick the type. And of course, you want to parse the response, and then you're going to want to show advanced options and put in your username and password for your Data for SEO account, which if you go to your Data for SEO account, click on API access, and your data will be right here. Obviously, mine's blacked out, but you get the point. And then I do have a router here. Now this was more for my testing, but I still find it sometimes returns errors because, if you're searching for something, like old TVs, and you do it for like the past hour, you're probably not going to get anything. And so it'll actually return an error, which we don't want. I have this set up to catch the error here. So if a task error comes up, it won't run the whole thing and waste your automations. Now, the next filter I do have set up is sometimes it'll not return an error, but it won't give you any results. So maybe it found old TVs, but nothing existed for your result. And so they'll be empty. And so what I do is I have this filter set up. And if you can see my router, settings here, I have what's called a fallback. So what happens is if this does not pass, it will fall back to this sheet. And then all this sheet is doing is updating the status with an error. So if I run this and nothing comes up, this will say error. So then I know I need to run it again or change my settings. So that's all that's for. And now these two modules here are completely optional. You don't have to do these ones if you're really concerned about saving a few automations. But since we are making an API call again, we're going to save ourselves a lot of operations. This saves us, you get about 25 results. So this would be 50 results between the two, and now it's just one. So the only reason I like to do this is so it pulls the actual data that I want, because you'll see when I run this that, the data will come with top, and then it'll come with rising. And then I'm using a simple router again, where this iterator just picks the top one, and this one picks the rising. Instead of pulling it directly from this, you can just pull it from this. But I also wanted to have my errors and my fallbacks. And so, once again, these are optional, but I like to use them. All we're doing is setting a variable based on that. And this one's doing the same thing based on rising. And then once again, the iterator will then just pick that up. And then, of course, my favorite tool in the world nowadays is the text aggregator. And when you set this up, you have to show advanced options, and you want to pick other, you want a comma, and then we're going to basically make a JSON to send to our Google Sheet. And you can see I have keyword, the query, the value, the time range. If we go into this sheet, you can see that I have top. And so we have seed word, query, value, time range, and type. So the seed word, I basically want to know what I was searching, so it'll pull that in. And this will be the values from DataForSEO. But then I want to know what time range and type that I used, because you could change these. You might change it 30 days and then run it again for 7 days. So I just like to be a little over redundant sometimes. But that's just me. So yeah, we're creating our simple JSON file. And then, of course, we're going to make our API call, which is, I have videos on how to do this. It's very simple, and it saves you tons of automations. In one of my videos, I show you how you can save over 800 to 1,000 operations, using this method. And it's very simple. It's just spreadsheets, and then your spreadsheet ID. You do values, your sheet name, which, as you can see, this one's called top, just TOP. And it's a post method, content type, application JSON. You fill out the query string, value option, user entered, and then the body is this simple JSON file with open brackets, brackets in between the text from your aggregator. I know I'm kind of rushing, it feels like, but I want to create a simple video for you guys. If you need me to go more in depth with this type of stuff, let me know in the comments. Sometimes I like to create videos where I go step by step, and then other times I like to make shorter ones, so whatever. And also, I'm updating my Google Sheet. So I'm updating this sheet to say done. And as you can see, it's just done. And then, of course, I do put the timestamp, which is just in the calendar function here and now. And the reason why I just have it here and not here is sometimes you won't get the rising. So this is the rising one, the rising keywords. Sometimes those are blank. So I don't want to update the sheet on this one. So I just update it here. Like I said, there's a lot going on here. I get it. But let's go ahead and run this so you guys can see what kind of outputs I get. Hopefully everything's still set up right. So there's my top keywords and there's my rising keywords. So you can see once again, it already corrected everything. So these are the top trends. And of course, the value is based on a 0 to 100 scale. This is what people are actually searching for, and these are the next things. And then the rising trends, obviously we know a lot about DeepSeek. I didn't even know what this Stargate was till I ran this, and that was kind of like, oh, really? But yeah, so then you get all your values right here. So like I said, that goes through that, that goes through that. And now I want to show you how we can make this into a bigger and get more content related about this by using this one here, which is our keyword suggestion tool, which if you've seen that video, you can see how it gives you hundreds, if not thousands, of ideas. And as you can see, I already ran this the other day. So I asked what Stargate was because I had no idea. And then I got all of this Stargate stuff. Where does it start? Right here. So I got all this stuff about Stargate, and then I was asking it about the other AI generator. I mean, just look at all the stuff that I got. I mean, this is all amazing content based off of this automation, and then we could even go a step further by using the autocomplete one, which if you guys saw that video, so I have this here where you put a keyword, like I put, what is Stargate? You can see, it gave me Stargate AI, Stargate this, Stargate that, Stargate. And then I did the same thing for DeepSeek. So I got all this DeepSeek stuff, which is awesome. And then of course you can go one step further and use my ginormous content machine, which this one here, so you put your keyword, like this one was digital cameras, and it literally created 265 content for me. So it gave me my first subtopics, which were amazing. Now, once again, I'd watch the videos. I have videos for all 3 or 4 of these automations scenarios, so check those out. And then it created subcategories based on that. So I just got tons of, these subcategories can be your categories for your blog, which is amazing. But then I also got people also ask, and I showed you guys in one of the videos how this was relevant to when I shot this video. I don't know if it'd still be relevant now, but if we search the history of digital cameras and we go down to people also ask, and then I can bring this in here, actually it still might be relevant. So you can see, when did digital cameras start? What is the history of digital cameras? So it has changed. So obviously these things do change and update. The digital cameras is 2000, but you can see it's right there. The data does change on here, but it pulls all of the current, it pulls whatever currently is sitting in these. And it goes to about 4 clicks deep. So in case you didn't know, when you click on the first one here and close it, it adds more. You click on it again, it adds more. Click on it again, it adds more. Like, why did Kodak fail? I know that one's on here. Yeah, there's why did Kodak fail. I feel so bad for Kodak. So that's basically the gist of the automation. Like I said, if you guys want me to do a full build video on this type of stuff, if that would help out more, or maybe make a second video of me building these out, let me know in the comments. Say, hey, dude, help us out here. But I will leave the templates, the Google Sheets in the description. So you guys can download them for free. I'm also curious if anybody knows what famous car that plate is from. And if you do know, just be like, put it down in the comments. Say, hey, you're awesome. Other than that, that's all I got for you today. I hope it was informative. Let me know. Smash me a like. Tell me I'm at least doing something right. If not, it's cool. I won't hold you to it. So that's all I got for you. Have a good one.